You're listening to Positive Vibes with Shane Nikolic, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. Positive Vibes with Shane Nikolic. Okay, well, that's recording, so we're all good.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
and so I just want to say it's very, very good to have you in the studio and
Thanks,
on
man.
my show.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember because it's like I've said on my social media post. We've been lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And I was trying to recall, but ninth grade was the earliest I can remember.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was about the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I had moved away from Enumclaw
Right.
and then come back.
Yep.
Yeah. And we were in school together. And,
Yep.
there at Enumclaw High School, and even rode the bus together.
Yeah.
Yeah. To and from school.
Yeah, and then Tina Stenson's was one of my best friends, and you're related to her. And,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So a lot of close connections.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Well, yeah, Enumclaw. It's not that.
Right.
It seems to be growing now, but it wasn't that big of a town then.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still not that big.
Right. Yeah, there was only a couple hundred people in our class, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sort of got that real small town vibe where everyone knows everyone.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And I just wanted to. It seems as though I could be wrong, and as you've stated before, I'm probably wrong. But it seems to me I always thought that you were in my art class there at Enumclaw High School.
That could be, yeah. My biggest memory of our interaction in Enumclaw was it was like an AA group at the high school, like in the counseling room or something like that. I remember that was like that was like the first like real big impact that you had on me. I remember listening to we were sitting around this room, and I just went to the counselor. There was like some sign that said something about like drug education, and I was doing drugs, and I was like, I want to learn more about what I'm doing. Like I wanted to learn more about the drugs I was taking, so I thought it would like educate me. And so that was kind of like my first interaction was and I remember hearing your story, sitting there hearing your story and going, oh man, like I got a lot in common with this guy, whoa, this guy's as wild as me, so. Actually, I don't remember going to I didn't get sober until I started at Collins High School. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it must have been someone else. Or maybe that was maybe it was just a AA meeting or something like that. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Memory like high school. It's so long ago, but I just remember hearing your story at like a younger age and going, whoa, this, kind of having like this, like, oh, I really identify with this guy. You know? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's crazy because back when I was going to Enumclaw High School, I was deep in the throes,
Yeah.
I was always drinking and doing drugs.
Right. Yeah.
And
totally.
Yeah. It's like, back when I was at Enumclaw High School, I was the schoolboy from hell.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
But
Right.
Crazy days indeed.
Right. Yeah. Kind of a legend, really.
Yeah, it's like sort of sad, don't want to go down as a legend like that, but
right. Yeah.
it is what it is. And
well, you become another legend in your own way, like, in different ways and more positive ways now,
Yeah, it's like, just instead of always, bringing down everything with the negative vibe.
Right.
Now it's like lifting everything up and lifting up other people with positive vibes.
Right.
Hence my show, Positive Vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whoops. I almost removed one of the cameras there. That wouldn't have been good.
Oh.
I was just wanting to we're apart, distant there for a few years, weren't in contact or anything.
Right.
What happened after high school?
Let's see, where did my road go? Well, like, man, that's kind of like when I was like 19. So like right after high school, when I was 18, like right after high school, I moved to Bellingham, and then I kind of had this like 3 months after I moved there, I had a pretty big crisis, like a big life crisis. I had like kind of went through like a depression. Kind of got depressed and started drinking a lot, and I locked myself in my apartment for a month and quit my job. This was like in December after I'd started college there in like September, so like a few months of being up there, and I quit my job at Little Caesars Pizza, and I quit for like 3 weeks or something, and my boss called me, and I was like locked in my apartment just drinking myself. And that was like really my first experience with like alcoholism, where I was like, oh shit, I'm an alcoholic. Like, this is what I want to be doing, is like nursing this like deep void with this, with alcohol. And this guy called me and was like, I was like, man, I'm not coming back into work, dude. Like, and he's like, oh, I'm not calling about that. I'm having a party. He's wondering if you want to come. And I was like, oh, okay. And I hadn't been out of the house in a while, and this was about a week before Christmas. And I had like, went to this guy's party, and there was a lot of LSD there. There was somebody from like Miami that was just giving it out for free. It was like, he was like testing his LSD out, and I dropped like 17 hits of acid at that party because I was pretty lit, pretty drunk, and just, it was free, and so I just kept taking it. And anyway, that created a complete like schizophrenic psychosis, and ended up in the mental hospital, and I spent like 6 weeks in a mental hospital, and then after that, it took me a few months to like regulate my brain, and then I started going into like, I went into a rehab, and then I relapsed, and I went into another rehab, Sundown Ranch in Yakima, and I like got sober for like 6 years. So from like age like 19 to 25, I got sober, and went to college, finished school, and so so that's kind of what happened after high school, was like this major crisis right after high school, psychological breakdown crisis, getting my stuff together, and getting sober and spending 6 years getting myself through college, and then I did some world traveling, and then I think I was in Africa where I relapsed again, and then I don't know. I feels easy talking to you about the sobriety stuff because that's one of our biggest connections. Like and so like I relapsed and then spent another 11 years just going pretty hard and trying to manage it, trying to just do a little bit each day, but I'm just a monster addict, alcoholic, and I don't have a inner regulator, and it just got out of control until I went through another psychosis, and then finally I think I went through 3 more psychotic breaks, and then I finally decided to get sober again, and I just couldn't go to the mental hospital anymore. I was done. I was just I got to a point where it was threshold surrender time, I was I have to surrender this. I can't do this anymore. And I gotta change my life. I remember sitting in a golf cart. I was driving a golf cart for my dad. He was golfing. I would want to attempt to golf. I was and it just hit me. I just this moment of clarity kind of hit me. I'd been a month sober at the time, but a moment of clarity hit me where I was I'm done for good. And I just saw I could visualize the rest of my life without drugs and alcohol and all that entails. And I was that's better than what I'm doing, and decided to walk down that road. But it's been a trip.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, I hear you there. It's definitely a trip.
Yeah.
And just so far as the art, were you, you say you were traveling the world.
Yeah.
Were you, in Africa, were you making art all over the world?
Yeah, I was. I've always been making art. So that's been the one consistent thread through my whole life since since early childhood. It's been this consistent thread since my parents said as soon as I was able to pick a crayon up, I was scribbling on the walls in their house, driving them crazy. And I have a lot of memories of that kind of early childhood stuff. But then when I was traveling, you were asking, I wasn't painting murals everywhere, but I was really buying art supplies and making paintings and leaving them places and things like that. So I was kind of peppering the world with my art, but and meeting other travelers and showing them what I do, and then maybe trading them for different things and stuff like that, or just gifting things to people along the way. Someone would let me stay at their place, and I'd just do a painting and leave it there. So there are this string of paintings and art throughout my whole life that I've kind of left a trail of. Yeah.
I know. I do know that for sure. There in Bonnie Lake, we had one of your paintings in the house, and custom Wizard of Oz painting.
Yeah.
And then
doing that one. Yeah.
And then it's you brought up my Aunt Tina Stenson earlier.
Yeah.
And it's I go to her house and I see her paintings all over, and prints all over.
Right.
And it's yep, Ryan's been here.
Yeah.
There's the work of Henry.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's I don't see any of your murals here in Tacoma.
Yeah.
But I see the murals here, and whenever I do see a mural, it reminds me of walking around Seattle and Bellevue, or in my case, running around. About not Bellevue, but Ballard in Seattle, and seeing your murals all over.
Yeah.
It seems like I'm running my favorite one up there to see your paintings is the Seattle Ox Marathon, because we start up at we start up the hill at Woodland Park.
Yeah.
And run down Stoneway and through Ballard.
Okay.
And it's
cool.
like just the way we go.
Yeah.
It seems as though we pass like, well, you got a lot of them up there, but it seems like we passed 5 or 6 buildings with your murals on the side of the building.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
So is it like a goal of yours to paint Seattle or paint Ballard or whatever?
Well, I remember like when I started doing murals, and it was 2008 that I started painting murals, and I'd like painted them like kind of all summer. I'd been painting. I kind of felt like some portal opened up for me, and I was like, walls became available for me, and I was painting them. And then finally somebody interviewed me, and during that interview they asked me what my goals were, and at the time I didn't have any. I was a goalless like person as far as my art went, but I just made up a goal on the spot during the interview. I was like, I want to do 50 murals in the city of Seattle, and I don't know how many I did at the time, like a handful, maybe like a dozen or something at the time. And I was like, I want to do 50. And then that got published, and then people were into that. People were into the goal. Like everyone was focused. This guy's got a goal, and he's going to make this thing happen. And so like TV, like Q13 and King 5, and everyone wanted to know about this goal. This guy's going to do 50 murals in our city, And so I started getting interviewed about the goal more than the art or anything. And I was like, I just made that up, like I just pulled that off the top of my head, and now I have to like kind of live up to it, And so I was the guy with the goal all of a sudden, like, this guy's got goals, It's like, I guess I'm a guy with goals now. And yeah, it's kind of funny how like life gives you things that is a little bit unexpected. And so but that really helped me think about like, okay, I'm going to do 50 murals in this city. And that was like where I wanted to like get to. And I've done hundreds now, but I surpassed that like so long ago. I think I hit 50 murals my second year into it. So like 2000, by the end of 2009, I had like 70 murals. So, and I think it was the next year, the third year into it. 2010, I hit my 100th mural. And so I hit 100 like 11 years ago, and I've done a couple hundred, more than a couple hundred since then.
I know. I see your posts on Facebook and Instagram, and see you putting up murals every now and again. I remember seeing a post. I don't know how long ago it was, but a couple of years ago maybe. I saw a post, and I had been off work and got back to work, and then I saw this post about you were doing a mural up on, I don't know, somewhere up there in Seattle, and I'm like, shoot, I know exactly where that building's at.
Cool.
I wish I wasn't back to work. I'd go up there and watch him paint.
Oh yeah, cool.
But and one thing I wanted to ask you about for sure was here recently I've been seeing your posts about your artwork being up at the Space Needle in Seattle.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah.
And so what's up with that?
That's kind of a big milestone for me, a big step up for me. And so I started doing this merchant a couple years ago. I decided that I wanted my family more involved in my artwork and stuff, and kind of started out with my brother and my mom, and just talking to them about getting a t-shirt company going with my stuff on it. And eventually my dad ended up kind of taking the reins with it. And so now he's running my merch company, and he's running his own merch company with my stuff. So it's officially his own company. But it's all about my art on there. But we're in like started getting in different gift shops, and we started like just kind of hitting the road and getting ourselves in little spots kind of all over the place. And then a couple years into it, it tumbles into like getting into the Space Needle. So, and they like had me do a custom piece for them, and then they made a bunch of products based on that custom piece. So yeah, it's been cool because I like it's one of the like busiest gift shops in the United States,
Yeah.
So it's like a real like interesting, like I have my murals, that's its own world. I kind of have my canvases, and you've been to my shows.
Yeah.
And so you see like what my canvas world's like. And then now I have this merch world. So they're like kind of all different, like 3 different worlds kind of. And so in the merch world, I'm in the Space Needle, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, like you saw when I came downstairs to get you, I actually have a mask that I purchased from your website.
Yeah.
Hold it up. See if I can hold it up to the camera there. And it's a print of a painting he did with the Sasquatch riding an orca. And I'm like, I saw his different designs on your website, and this one just screamed out to me because it's like, what's more Pacific Northwest than a Sasquatch riding an orca?
Yeah.
Two of our main symbols.
Right. Yeah.
And and just to let you know, this mask and his other painted masks are $18.50 on the website, and who knows, there may be some specials on there. So we'll give the addresses later, and you can go there and check them out, along with lots of his other work.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, but it's
I
like
appreciate your support over the years, man. It's always been like, my shows get quite a few people to them, but then when you walk through the door, it just feels like there's just more light in the room. Like it's like, oh, Shane's here. It's like it just feels like your presence, like light, brings light to a room.
Well, thank you.
So,
thank you.
My heart's always been like full of gratitude when you come to and support me.
Right on.
So,
well, thank you.
Yeah.
The way I see it, I see your post saying, "Hey, I'm having a show here at this time," and I'm like, okay, well, that'd be pretty cool to make it to that show. I'm not doing nothing, so let's go.
Yeah.
So let's make a plan.
Yeah.
So, so it's like, and plus it's like we've talked before, two guys from Enum Club, we grew up there together.
Yeah.
So, hey, may as well get out into the big city and support each other.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like, I go up there and support you. I might as well, now that I have this show, I might as well have you on my show. Spreading some positivity and positive vibes.
Right. Yeah.
And
I've been watching you do your thing, man, and it's like it's really inspirational. Just how you're writing books, you're running marathons, you're like doing podcasts. It's like you're really like you're doing the things that people like say that they wish they were doing. There's so many people that are like, oh, I wish I had the motivation, or I wish I could do this or that, and you're just doing it, and like it's just kind of watching you just from even from social media, going, man, Shane's just killing it in his life, and so just from me observing you, you're like, and I think we have that common thread as we both like, okay, let's just do this thing, but anyway, you're one of the people that on my Facebook thread that's you're probably the most positive person on there. You know, I got a lot of positive people on there, but like, I mean, you're just like, whoa, okay, next level, let's do this thing, you know.
Yeah. And well, it's like so far as that goes, it's like, you know, these guys that I follow, Gary Vaynerchuk, Brendan Burchard, and this guy I just started following. I just found, you know, I'm quote unquote met him, found out about him on a Zoom call I was on. He happened to be the one of the speakers on this Zoom call. Yeah. Not too long ago, in one of these entrepreneur masterminds or whatever. Yeah. I was in, and his name is Vusi Tembakwayo. Okay. And he's got a book. It's
dang, that's a name.
Yeah, he's South African. Yeah. And he's got a book, Business Lessons from a Black Dragon. Okay. Dragon being the term for like entrepreneurs that just like take off out of nowhere and just go to the top right away. Okay. And anyway, it's like, you know, he's on fire. Yeah. And he, you know, came from nothing and witnessed his dad brutally murdered in front of him. Took 9 shots. Right. When he was 13 years old. Yeah. You know, a younger kid. Right. And just totally traumatized over that. Yeah. But yet here he is, he's, you know, in his early 30s, he's a venture capitalist, you know, and just top of the world. He's written like 2 or 3 books now. Right. Anyway, I was listening to this book, and the one thing that stood out in there, what he was saying was that young people, as younger people like to say nowadays, is they like to tell each other, you know, or they say that they're sleeping on themselves. Yeah. You know, and like he says, you got to, using that terminology, you got to quit sleeping on yourself and wake up. Yeah. You know, and those 2 words, just wake up. Yeah. That's what everyone's got to do, you know. Right. And, you know, it's like.
That's true, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Get away from the negative, step into the positive. Yeah. And, you know, instead of just standing still or sliding backwards, wake up and go forward. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're doing an awesome job of it.
Well, so are you, sir.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah. I love seeing all your posts about your paintings and your merch at the on your website and at the Space Needle. It's like, thanks. That's totally iconic. Yeah. It's, you know, going in the gift shop at Space Needle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot.
I was in there a few years back and bought a couple of I forget what items I bought, but I bought some Space Needle merchandise that was like historic type merchandise. Yeah. It was based on historic stuff and from the early days, from when they had the World's Fair in Seattle.
Right. Yeah, some of those black and white kind of photos.
And I was talking to a friend, an older friend in Enumclaw, and he was actually working up there at the Space Needle during the World's Fair.
Oh, crazy! That's cool.
Yeah, and he was bringing up memories of that time and everything. Right. So, you know, and I've always thought cool. That's super cool up there at Space Needle in Seattle Center, being tied into the World's Fair. Right. And,
it was the future, you know, that was the whole thing, was like kind of this Jetsons world, like thing that we were about to create and embark upon. Yeah. And it's still... We're still not quite there, but you know, like it's projecting that vision of what the future could be, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and in a way, it's sort of like we're almost there because you know this cell phone, smartphone, you know, it's the internet, and like Gary Vaynerchuk, like he's always saying, people don't realize it, but this year you have the world at your fingertips, you know, on you at all times. Right. And it's just I don't know what that was. I had to hit a wrong button. Anyway, but you know, one thing I was curious about, do you do you do classes, or do you have an inkling to do classes?
I've done
classes.
I've done a couple things. Yeah, I've gone to some schools and taught some stuff, and I've done some couple community class things, and it's been a while though. I've just like get so busy doing everything else, just keeping up with like my mural load, and then my canvas stuff. Like right now with my canvas thing, it's starting in August, August 29th, which was my birthday. I decided to start doing a non-commissioned painting a day for a year. So like no matter what I got going on in my life, I'm getting a painting done every day. And so it's been over 4 months that I've been on that project. So even if I have a commission painting, like someone commissioned a painting the other day, I had to do that painting, and then I had to do my non-commissioned painting. So, or if I paint a mural, I still have to go home and get my non-commissioned painting done. So it's been, or if I'm out backpacking, which I love hiking and backpacking, and I just absolutely love hiking. But if I'm out there, I have to bring a little canvas and some paints and a headlamp and get that done no matter what. So I'm put myself in this. I went on a family vacation recently, went out to the ocean, and we had this Airbnb, and like hung out all day with my family. And then, everyone went to bed, and I was like, I haven't done my painting yet, so I had to like stay up and like get it done. And so I've been doing it like every day, and I'm gonna get through this whole year doing it. So I got another goal. So
another goal for people to follow you.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So anybody that's on my social media will see like a new painting every day pop up on there, Yeah. And it's been over 4 months where it's like at least one. I did 2 yesterday just because I just had another idea,
Yeah.
And some time on my hands.
Yeah.
So
I saw the one, and I love it, that the octopus with the 8-ball.
Oh yeah, on an octagon shaped canvas. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that totally rocked.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, here, let me just bring that up here. Let's see here. Bring it up. There you are. Yeah, because that one just totally rocked. See if I can show everyone here. Whoops. Let me switch cameras. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there it is. But yeah, that one rocks. I love your creativity.
Thanks.
Just here, like, let's see. I don't know, is that one too glary? I think you can see it.
Oh, the couple little birds one.
Yeah. Twisting around. But anyway, yeah, it's like I love your art, and it's just like,
thanks.
I see why, Seattle loves it, and it's all over Seattle and Ballard.
Yeah.
Heck, I'm surprised, sort of surprised that other cities around the country and the world don't see that and say, hey, come paint our city.
Yeah, well, I was going to get, I had this cool project lined up for Tacoma. I don't know if it's going to happen, like once COVID hit, everything kind of like changed.
Yeah.
But there was like a lot of momentum for this new flat stick pub to open up here. And I was going to do the paintings and sculptures and do this big installation in Tacoma. I was kind of like gearing up for it. I just like finished doing a big installation in Spokane for them, and then I did some stuff, and they opened one in Bellingham, and I did some stuff there, and then the next one was going to be Tacoma. They got this cool spot downtown and all this stuff, and everything's kind of on hold as far as like development goes right now.
Yeah.
So, but I did have a huge mural in Tacoma on this old. There was a apartment complex, I think, on Fawcett Street, and I painted the whole apartment complex. So it was this big building, and I painted this giant unicorn with an elf riding it on the side of it, and some big elves sitting on mushrooms on the front, and it just gave that neighborhood the reactions were mixed reviews on that one. Some people were like, just like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And then some people were like, why are you turning our neighborhood into like a kindergarten playground, dude? Like there was like some people taking it way too seriously. I'm like, wow, but that was up for quite a while. They ended up tearing that building down eventually. Like I went to like show somebody, you got to see my Tacoma mural, and I drove there and the building is gone. So, and that was a few years back, but yeah, I don't really get a lot of work in Tacoma, but I got more work in like Bellingham and Portland and kind of the surrounding areas, but there is a lot of good artists here, though.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it on my social media, but there's a mural down on Dock Street. The word empathy.
Oh, okay.
And it's just the word empathy, and it's done in rainbow colored blocks.
Oh, cool.
Or a rainbow of different colored blocks.
Yeah.
And it's like so cool.
Yeah. And then on 6th Ave, there's quite a few cool things too.
Yeah. 6th Ave's cool for that.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Okay, I don't know where it went. That one's gone. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to pull that one up because I can't find it. Okay, and like, so what are your, aside from COVID and everything?
Yeah.
What are your with COVID aside, if you were, had freedom to paint wherever, whenever, what are your artistic goals?
Just, complete world takeover. And then I'm going to colonize Mars with Elon Musk and take over that planet too. Yeah.
So you're gonna paint the solar system.
Yeah. Just one planet at a time. I'm not in a huge rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about logging the other planets. Just paint the trees too.
I might throw one on the moon on the launch before the launch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have a Henry flag up there next to the U.S. flag.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Explore the dark side of the moon, I guess. I don't know. I think like what I really want to see happen is, well, lately I have some like lofty ideas of what I want, and then I'm also in this space with like kind of like inside my soul, I guess, like where I just want to like let go and trust more, and not be quite as ambitious, but like let more just like the universe come to me and offer opportunities. So I have like, there's like kind of two sides kind of battling each other inside of myself, and trying to find like some balance and unity. But like one side's like, I want to be in museums. I want like multi-million-dollar budgets, and I want like just because I think it'd be fun, like I've been completely homeless, living out of a backpack, living in vehicles, all sorts of stuff. Like I can be poor, I'm good at it, but like I'm kind of at a place where like, yeah, give me a few $1,000,000 in like a year and a space, and I want to show you what I can do, and I want to like blow your mind, and so there's that, like, and I just think it'd be blast, to like, hire the people I want to hire, and build big interactive installations in museums that people could like, enter these Henry universes and really get some access to what's in my mind, and if I could, the more I can share that, the better. And then there's this other side of me that's like, just let go, and let it be, and just be in the day and be in the moment and do what you do. And so there's kind of this like, I have these big goals, and then I have this other side, and then maybe there's even this third side that's like, and I think it's the most important aspect is the inspiring of others, and that's kind of out of my control too. Like, I don't know what I do and how I do it inspires people, but I get a lot of feedback that I am inspiring people, and I want that to continue. And so I think I have to have like some ideas of where I want to go, and then I have to like, but really inside myself, I want to just like, like, if like, this is like, if your fist is you wanting something really bad, and it's clenched fist, I want this, I want this, I want this, but I want to like be like this, like I want to be the open hand that's like relaxed and just like letting the universe kind of fall into it, and then taking this and like, playing with that material more than like going and getting what I want in the world. Like, it's just more like, I feel like I get to be more intuitive that way, and be more present, and really like coming at this thing from an angle of like, I'm not in control of the universe. Like, the universe is doing what it's doing, and I want to play with it,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying there,
Yeah.
It's like, sort of like, it's like, putting all your energy into it and using up, basically burning yourself up.
Right.
And you want to find a balance trying to find a balance between that and just letting go. Like they say in the 12-step program, let go and let God. You just want to let go and let the universe happen.
Right. Yeah.
And happen as it will. And But yeah, I totally hear what you're saying there. Sort of almost like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's sort of like, almost like you've been burning yourself up for so long. Now it's like, you just, okay, well, I put out enough of myself. I just want to see how the universe responds to that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Right on. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like, sometimes you miss the opportunities if you are going so strong in one direction. And there's all this stuff over here going, hey, like, this is cool. And you miss it because you're like, I'm going for this thing. And there's all this cool stuff around, and you're missing it because you're so zeroed in on this thing, and you never really can get there until you like realize that you already have it all, and I think like, I think that's kind of like, like some big realizations that I'm kind of going through, is like, I don't need what I thought I needed, what I need is kind of what I have, and like, and that's kind of been true the whole time, and like, I've always had what I needed, the whole journey. And I've like been like, wanting, like, I kind of get obsessed, and I want to grow, and I want my business to grow. I want to like, I want to get to the next level. I want to get to the next level. I want to get to the next level. And it's like, maybe it's about the journey and not the end product, and, yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe it's just becoming a more healthy person, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like, at times I've thought, okay, cool, during these highlight moments during my life, I've thought, okay, I made it,
Yeah.
And then it's like that highlight moment, whatever's holding it up just comes crashing down.
Yeah.
Of course, I would have helped if I'd built, if there was a good foundation.
Yeah.
But regardless, that
Right.
highlight sort of
Right.
just totally dissolves, crashes, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like on to the next.
Right.
And
That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's just part of the journey.
Yeah. It always does kind of like those highlight moments do like go away, and you're left with kind of the void again or whatever. And then it's another opportunity to be present and recreate your life again, and it comes in like microscopic and macroscopic. Sometimes it's big, like everything, and you're like, you get a car wreck, and then everything, like, you like all of a sudden, like, all the shit happens and you don't have anything, and you're like, maybe you lose everything and you have to really start over in your life. And then sometimes it's just the little things, like little micro highlights in your life that go away, and you have to like, but it's always a constant, like, I think Madonna is a good like archetype of like recreating herself, someone that's like recreating herself. And like, and we got to witness that in our lifetimes. This one person, Madonna, we got to like witness this creative being recreate herself every few years over and over and over again. Like, it's the new Madonna, it's the new Madonna, and that's like, oh my gosh, that like she was onto something really cool, and we got to like watch that happen over the course of our lifetimes. And that's kind of like what we have to do to like, as like creative people that are on this adventure. Like you like write books and you do podcasts, and you're living your best self, and you're doing your creative life. And sometimes those things don't work as you want them to, or they're working for a while and then they stop working. They're like, why the hell is this ain't not working the way it was? And you got to just like, it's time to Madonna up, and like recreate yourself and add a new thing and do a new thing,
Actually, what you're saying there about recreation and everything, and what you were saying earlier about inspiring people, I can tie those two together real quick. Is I was watching you and your when we connected on Facebook, I was watching all your posts a few years ago about doing all your paintings, and then we went to your one show up there in Ballard, and I forget. Well, actually, I've been to 2 of your shows up there, but the first one,
you went to Working Class Hero?
Yeah, it was Working Class Hero.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of the name of it, but yeah, Working Class Hero.
That's where you showed up with your top hat.
Yeah. And
I was like, yeah.
But I remember after that show, I had been inspired by seeing you paint and everything, and seeing your paintings.
Yeah.
And so that's when I got into painting. I figured,
Right.
I want to get into painting.
Yeah.
It's a very creative outlet.
Right. Yeah.
And so I started painting, did a few paintings.
Yeah.
And I did have 2 paintings in the Swedish MS Center's art show
Okay,
at
cool.
the Seattle Center,
Yeah.
a year later or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
And,
yeah. I remember that, man.
Yeah. And I still have them. I have them at home.
Cool.
Of course, I still have them. I haven't sold any, but the MS No More and then the Brain on MS one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
cool.
Yeah, I just and then it's like I painted for a while and that wasn't doing it, and so I just let it go. And, here years later, now I'm able to, do podcasts. And, after I wrote my book, met Gary Vee, now I'm doing my podcast and I'm on, this is a radio. So, it's a radio show.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's just life is one long journey,
right?
And a creation or recreation process,
right? Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Where if one thing doesn't work, you got to change it. Recreation. Yeah. Change avenues.
Right. Yeah, and people do it in relationships and where they live and everything. And like it's this relationship's not working out. We got to restructure it. Like maybe we're not meant to be like partners, but we can still like each other and support each other in a different way. Or like it's not working out that I'm living in this spot because the rent's too high, or like it's not meeting my needs of where I need to be, so I'm gonna move and I go do this thing. And like everyone's like recreating themselves, but like once you're like really aware that that's what you're here for, then when you have to recreate yourself, you're like, well, that's what I'm here for. Not like, oh shit, I gotta move, like this is hard and this and that. Like you just like, this is what we do. We are constantly transforming, and once you've kind of embraced the fact that like life is about change and you have to change, and you're just a changer, like rather than like just gonna stay the way it always is. Like when you're stuck like that, that's when like things get really difficult, is when you get locked into like, I want things to stay the way they are, and if something changes, it's gonna shake my foundation and ruin everything. Then you're in trouble, when you get too comfortable like that. But if you're like someone that's always making your own changes, the universe is making changes, and like you just kind of go with it. And it's like, oh, my car's not working, I guess I'm walking and taking the bus. It's like big deal, like this is what life is. It's an adventure of change, and like once you like kind of embrace that, like, and become that, then things that are thrown at you that feel positive or negative just become easier, because that's it's reality, really, and you're like becoming part of it. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and this, I was just thinking, about us both having basically been born and grew up in Enumclaw, small town USA.
Right.
It's like, nothing bad with the town, I love it.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have lived there for my entire life, but hey, life, it's constant change, and we, as well as I do, it's like, obviously we didn't stay there forever. And, at one point, that looked like the way it was going to be was I was going to stay there.
Right.
And, but here I am, ended up bouncing around a bit and ended up here in Tacoma.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like, in the end, it is what it's supposed to be anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And, it's like, of course, growing up, like we started out our conversation, back there at Enumclaw High School, that was life, drinking, doing drugs.
Right.
Heck, I was probably gonna be voted the least likely to succeed, and I probably would have been if there was a vote. Yeah. But I don't know how you feel about yourself, but here we are,
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, so far as the current time, today, right now, right here, both of us, we have succeeded in our own right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, I think one thing for me since then, like when I kind of draw like myself back to high school age, I think I was just kind of angry, and I don't feel angry in life anymore. I was pissed off at the way the world was and the way things were and the way people were, and I, you know, sick of bullies and just shit stuff. Like I don't know. I just like I was a teenager, and I was kind of just like, um, you know, my parents were good parents, but they were bugging me, and like everything was kind of, and now I'm just not that person. Like there's a lot of things that are similar in my personality and core traits of like I always cared about people and stuff like that, and I always kind of fought for the underdog, and but yeah, it's nice to like when you connect with someone that you've known since high school, it kind of brings you back to that time period, and oh yeah, I was like more like this back then or that back then, and yeah, it people like when I hear people like complain about getting older, I'm like, are you kidding me? I love it. Like I love getting old. Like every year I'm like, like it gets better and better and better, like I'm 45 now, and like I don't want to be in my 20s, like I'm so happy here in comparison. Like I feel like once I hit 40, it was like this magic age for me. Like I'd been sober for a while, and I think that's a big part of it. But then like just the fact that like knowing there isn't that much time left or something, you kind of get this like sense that decades go by fast, and there's only a couple left, there's only like, well, it could be like, there could be 6 left maybe at the most, but more likely 3 or 4, and then maybe less. Who knows? It could be anything could take you. But like, when you hit 40, you're like, oh, whatever happens more, And so like, there's, yeah, I can't wait to be like, people are like, what do you want to do in your, what are your like life goals? And I'm like, I want to be the pinochle champion at my elderly care facility. Like I want to get really good, and they're like, are you practicing? I'm like, no, I'm just going to do it when the time's right, but, you gotta have like long-term goals too, I want to really be able to eat like a second helping of pudding,
Nice, very nice. Okay, yeah. I've been, so far as big goals, I've been working on that and setting some bigger goals.
Cool.
To get up out of where, just keep going up in elevation, I guess. Yeah. And
what about running? Do you have like running goals?
Actually, I was talking with my friend Annika, who I ran just under 11 miles with yesterday.
Yeah. Crazy. Wow,
and we were
just yesterday.
Yeah. Well, the day before, I figured, okay, I feel like going for a run, so I'm gonna go run that route that we're gonna run tomorrow.
Yeah.
This was on Friday. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go run that route that we're gonna run tomorrow just because I feel like running.
Yeah.
And so I kicked out just over 8 miles, 8.12 or something.
Jeez. Yeah.
And I'm like, I posted about it, and I'm like, okay, there you go. There's the route we're gonna run tomorrow.
Right.
But we ended up running a little extra. We ran up the hill to Point Defiance and back down. But anyway, it's like during that run, my friend Annika and I were talking about our running goals and everything, and how with COVID going on, we don't have races, long distance races on our schedule for the future. So we're just sort of, just working at, well, actually we do have one, the two of us, we're going to run a virtual 25K here on February 6th. Since the West Seattle Beach Run isn't happening because of COVID.
Right.
Which that's one of our favorite ones, running around Alki and everything.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Beautiful views.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Little bit of elevation gain, but beautiful views.
Yeah.
It's an awesome run too. Usually I run the 50K up there, 31 miles, but run around Alki and
how many miles is 50K?
31.
31, man. That's like what? 5 miles more than a marathon.
Yeah.
So would that be an ultra marathon? Yeah. Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But
have you read that book by David Goggins? You Can't Hurt Me?
No, I haven't read. I have been I follow David Goggins on social media and YouTube. Yeah. But I haven't read that book yet.
I would recommend the audio.
Okay.
Because it's partly, so it's a read book, but it's also a podcast with him. So someone's reading his book, but then they're also like stopping and like he's there in the studio and he's like, oh yeah. And then, he's like super intense and like talking about these stories and stuff. Yeah. But
he's always totally intense.
He's intense. Yeah. But that book really is like it for me. I'm not running like you're running, but I'm hiking a lot and stuff, and I do my own thing, and I'm running like 3 miles, and I haven't ran in like 20 years until I read that book, and now I'm running like 3 miles. But I felt like it was like just someone just shaking me, like get up and get going, like, and I love that kind of stuff. I'm not going to be a Navy SEALs or like. Not going to be at the level of David Goggins. Like he was running marathons with broken legs and stuff. Like I'm not doing that. Yeah. I know myself, and like I do have his ceiling's way up here and mine's way down here, and mine might go up like a little bit, but and I want it to, but like some of that stuff, I'm just like, well, that I'd probably stop. Yeah. I'd probably go home at some point, but he didn't, he never went home.
Actually, David Goggins, I don't think David Goggins has a ceiling.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have a ceiling, yeah.
And actually,
that's his whole idea, yeah.
Actually, my guest 2 or 3 weeks ago, my guest, Sam Bosworth, he's actually, if I remember correctly, he's actually run races with David Goggins.
Oh, really?
Down in California.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that would be fire, to be able to run with him. But but of course, the way he talks, I don't think I'd be able to run with him very long. Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe a few steps and then he'd be gone out of my sight. So
there was one thing he said that was like when you get to the point where you think it's done, where your brain and body says it's over. You're only at 40%. You still have 60% left. And that's like, I don't think I've ever pushed myself to the point where my brain and body's over. Like, so I haven't even got to that point. I'm maybe at like 20-some%, like, it's kind of an interesting, it's interesting that you can run 31 miles at a time. Like to me, you're the closest thing I know to David Goggins. I don't know very well. I know a couple people that run that far, but like I know a lot of people, and I only know 2 people that run that far, and you're one of them. So
well, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think I even classify myself near David Goggins.
Yeah, but compared to me,
yeah,
like I can run 3 miles, you can run 31. That's a big difference.
Well, actually. If I would have listened to David Goggins before, and if I had trained better the first time I ran Rainier to Ruston, when I ran the ultra, I wouldn't have stopped at 43 miles. I'd have sat there and nursed my knee for a minute.
Right.
And then I'd have, that would have been my point where I reached that point where I couldn't go anymore.
Yeah.
And then I would have reached inside and pulled out the rest.
Yeah. You're like, I have 60% left.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's like, okay, we hit that point.
Yeah.
Now let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it gets interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the clock here, and it's about that time. Actually,
cool.
We've gone like 7 minutes over.
Okay, cool.
But the next show is not on for a few minutes or a little bit.
Cool.
And I was just wondering if you could tell everyone, how to contact you or get a hold of you.
Don't. No. Please don't. No. No. If you're interested in my merchandise or purchasing like a canvas, or getting a hold of me in any way, my website is itsahenry.com, and you can just hit contact there, and those messages get forwarded to me if they're for me personally. If you're if you own a store and want to sell wholesale, you can go to that site too, and sign up the wholesale stuff. Or if you want just some stuff individually, you can do that. But it's a henry.com. It's kind of an easy thing to remember. It's kind of comes from when you're driving down the road and you see one of my murals. It's a Henry,
Okay, there we go. Yeah. I was wondering how you came up with that one.
It's me, a Henry. But so I'm an easy guy to get. And then on social media, it's Henry Beyond Museums with underscores is on my Instagram, and then that's. If you want to just follow my daily progress and stuff like that. So
okay, yeah, and I can always pop up, tag you in it and pop up your ways to contact you, your website address.
And I'm always having fun and doing new stuff and open to project ideas. And like I said, I don't want to control the universe. Open to ideas and collaborations and things like that. So right on. Well, thank you thank you very, very much for coming in today and being on my show. And sharing a little bit of your Henry vibe with the universe. Thanks, man. It's really good to see you, dude.
It's very good to see you. I think, what was that? When was your show? That was 3 or 4 years ago. Your show up in 3 years ago, I think. Your show up in Ballard. I forget. It was like a yoga place.
Oh, the Hug Show. Yeah.
Actually, you had your mystery. You had your
the Mystic Hug Thug.
Yeah, Mystic Hug Thug. But you were promoting at that event.
Yep. Yeah. So it's been that long, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Time is a mystery to me. It feels like. Sometimes it feels like I saw you a couple weeks ago and it's been 3 years, so that's a trip. Yeah. And then, digging into some deeper, older memories and all that. It's always interesting when you're talking to somebody that you have crossed paths with and been in touch with for a lifetime. It's a journey to the journey of memories. It's cool.
Definitely. I hear you there. All right. Well, all right. So I'm just going to wrap it up by saying thank you very much for tuning in and watching or listening to Podsitive Vibes today. And thank you very much for joining us and listening to Ryan Henry Ward, artist currently known as Henry. Did you see that when I put that up on my post? Yeah. Artist currently known as Henry.
I feel like Prince or something.
Well, maybe the artist Prince of Enumclaw.
Yeah.
There you go. Prince of Paint.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Yeah, I just wish you the best on your, the painting and art journey. And
Thanks, man.
I'll be following you for sure. And
Cool.
hopefully now, you may have some more followers of your art and your journey.
Yeah. Cool.
And if not, we're leaving a legacy of positivity.
Yeah, totally.
And all right, so thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you have a great week. And all right, we'll just stay kind, optimistic, and grateful, and have a phenomenal day and phenomenal week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Ciao.